Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Namayom Vishnupadaya Krishna Prasthaya Bhutile Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swaminiti Namine Namaste Swaraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarine Pancha Kalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhya Eva Jabatitanam Pavanebhyo Vishnubhyo Namo Namaha. जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर शिवासादि गौर भक्त वृंद हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम राम हरे कृष्णा. We welcome all of you to Bhakti Vaibhava course in our today's session. So in previous classes, in previous sessions, we have discussed about the introduction of Bhakti Vaibhava course and glories of Srimad Bhagavatam also. We also discussed how to study this course, Bhakti Shastri Bhakti Vaibhava, aims of Shastric studies, 8 aims: preaching application, personal application, mood and mission of Srila Prabhupada, culture and etiquette. This perspectives with which you will try to study Srimad Bhagavatam. So today we are thinking to start the study of Bhagavatam with understanding the overview of Srimad Bhagavatam. Bhagavatam is so vast. Sometimes devotees like we study, we go ahead, but then we forget what we studied earlier. So, in a nutshell, what is there in Srimad Bhagavatam? Content of Srimad Bhagavatam. What's there in it? Let's have a glimpse of Srimad Bhagavatam. What we can say as a whole. So, I hope all of you are familiar with this book, wonderful book called Bhagavata Subhadini. You have your handbook. I hope you have received the handbook, PDF, that's fine. Question, yeah, everything will be there. But as a side book, as a helping guidebook for studying Srimad Bhagavatam, we can use this from Bhakti Vedanta Vidyapit, which is in Govardhan Eco Village, Mumbai, Maharashtra, India. I was fortunate to be there for 2 years and do the course there. I was fortunate enough to study there and graduate from there, Bhakti Vedanta Vidyapit. And the wonderful experience studying Srimad Bhagavatam in devotee association for 2 years. And it's like whole immersive experience. Just we used to have everyday classes and then everyday exams also. And descriptive writing exams, we need to make notes, memorize slokas, every day few slokas memorize. And it was intense study, 5 days a week, just studies, 3 hours classes, and then again our self-study for 6-7 hours preparation, and all these things. And then other programs, morning program, morning temple, Bhagavatam class, everything all together to make it made really an experience for us to study Srimad Bhagavatam. So, and from Bhaktivedanta Vidyapit, these books are produced, Bhagavad Subhodhini, enriching the experience of Srimad Bhagavatam study. So this is Canto 1 and 2. You can get it, collect this book from anywhere it's from. I think it's available everywhere. Amazon also it's available. You can just search it, and different things are there. So we will use this as our guidebook while studying. We'll get overview glimpse from this book. So you can find about Bhaktivedanta Vidyapit, about Bhagavad Subhodhini, about first 2 canto. This is the Canto 1 and 2. Canto 1 and 2 overview. And also one thing about Bhaktivedanta Vidyapit, one thing I would like to focus from here about Vidyapit from this section is that vision, mission, and especially this 5S model. What do we say? Study, what is study, or what is this course all about? 5S model: sadhana, regulated practices of bhakti yoga; swadhyaya, spiritual studying actually itself, that we study, memorize, write, all these things; Sadachara, Vaishnava behavior, Sangha, good association, Seva, service. Of course, you can add further thing. You can add another is Sankirtan, preaching. In Vidyapit, actually, mostly it is a training program. So we would be focusing on these 5 aspects: sadhana, swadhyaya, sadachar, sangha, and seva. We don't have much scope for going out. It was in the farm there. So we don't have much scope of going outside for Sankirtan and going and doing preaching. Sometimes we would do, but you can add here one more, Sankirtan. So yeah, that's as a whole, complete picture, what we are supposed to do. Not just we don't become bookish, bookworm, just become a bookworm, just dive into books and forget everything else. Not that way. Practical service. So I can share with you one story from the biography of Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur, which can really set the proper appropriate mood with which we should study. Actually, Saraswati Thakur, he was against scholasticism or scholarship, like people would be paranoid about scholarship. Want to learn Sanskrit, want to learn these and that and that. Yes, one can learn Sanskrit and study books, go in depth of that, but just for the sake of studying to be a scholar, that is not. Jnane prayasam udapasanamanti eva jivanti sanmukhoditam bhavadiya vartam. Srimad Bhagavatam, it's rejected by Brahmaji. Jnane prayas, mental speculation, scholastic pursuit is not accepted. So some disciples, sometimes they would approach him and he would not accept it. There was one devotee who is devotee in Gaudiya Math, full-time devotee in Gaudiya Math. Then like that, he was busy in services and all, service and preaching and other things he was doing. So at the night, under lamplight, he would sit and he would study Shastra and Sanskrit. And just by self-study of Sanskrit under lamplight, he passed some Sanskrit exams from Kolkata at that time. Tough exams. It was distinctions. Saraswati Thakur praised it in Gaudiya Math newspaper. Gaudiya Math paper, regular, that journals, it was published and glorified, appreciated, like that. So there was one devotee. He was quite educated materially, academically, academic qualifications, educated. He has good degrees and all. So he was quite impressed by some of the disciples of Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur who had good knowledge on Shastra, very good command on Shastra. Some of the sannyasis, some of the Maharajas, disciples of Bhakti Saraswati Thakur, really scholar. And so this devotee, he saw them and he really got inspired. So he also wanted to be a scholar. So he came to Saraswati Thakur and requested him that I really liked your such and such disciples. They're so scholar. They know Shastra like so much, so in so depth. I also want to study Shastra like that. So can we appoint some of your scholarly disciples to teach me Shastra? So this devotee came and approached Saraswati Thakur and requested him that can you ask any of your scholarly disciples to teach me Shastra? Saraswati Thakur said that go and meet Ramdas Prabhu. Ramdas Prabhu can teach you Shastra. I said, okay, let me go and learn from Ramdas Prabhu. So actually, when he came and said, who is Ramdas Prabhu? Who is Ramdas? He found Ramdas Prabhu was the gardener of Gaudiya Math. He used to do gardening. He used to water the trees and grow flowers and some vegetables and cut the grass. So when he came, he found him cutting grass in the garden. And he said, who is Ramdas? He said, yeah, I am Ramdas. So then first of all, this devotee got quite astonished that how come Saraswati Thakur sent me to this devotee who is a gardener? But whatever he asked, he said that Saraswati Thakur sent me to you to learn Shastra from you. So then this Ramdas Prabhu got even more surprised that how come Guru Maharaj, Saraswati Thakur, Srila Prabhupada sent this devotee to me to learn Shastra. I don't know anything. This devotee was a gardener. He didn't know anything. I mean, didn't know anything means he was not much literate, not much educated in literary sense. But he used to listen to his Gurudev, Harikatha, and he could quote many Shastric principle correctly. deep, profound Shastric principles he could speak just by hearing from his Guru Maharaj. But in real sense, he would not be much literate and things academically not qualified. So Ramdas was, I don't know anything. I'm not much literate also. There might be some mistakes. So then this devotee, he came to Saraswati Thakur. As soon as, so this devotee thought maybe there is some mistake, some misunderstanding. Maybe Saraswati Thakur wanted like mean someone else. But by mistake, I heard Ramdas. So, but he again, this devotee again approached Saraswati Thakur immediately. Again, as soon as he came to Saraswati Thakur immediately asked him, so have you gone to Ramdas Prabhu? Have you learned from Ramdas Prabhu? What did you learn from Ramdas Prabhu? So now this devotee, really he got and prepared. He said that Ramdas Prabhu said he doesn't know anything. He said, he doesn't know anything, or he is not literate, not educated, not learned. Saraswati Thakur said, go and approach him humbly. Approach him humbly, he will teach you. So then this devotee realized that maybe Saraswati Thakur is trying to teach me in the lesson. So again he went to him and asked him that humbly, that please kindly teach me Shastra. Saraswati Thakur sent me to you again, and I humbly beg from you, please teach me Shastra. So now this devotee, Ramdas Prabhu, he said that I see, I don't know slokas and all these things in Shastra, but I listen from my Guru Maharaj, and what I understand is that serving Gandharvika Giridhari, the Supreme Lord, is the goal of my life. This should be my main ambition. So when I grow some flowers for Lord, I offer to them, grow some fruit and offer to the Lord. I feel the perfection of my life. Perfection of my life is growing some fruits or growing some flowers and cutting this grass of the temple, keeping the temple courtyard and garden clean and beautiful for the Lord and their devotee. That's the fulfillment of my life. So now this devotee, he came to Saraswati Thakur after hearing that. Saraswati Thakur asked him, what did you learn? This devotee said that I have learned the essence of Shastra from this devotee. This Ramdas Prabhu, he taught me the essence of Shastra, deep meaning. So what? He said like that serving the Lord is the goal of life, fulfillment of life. And he feels fulfillment by growing some fruits, growing some flowers for the Lord. And Saraswati Thakur said, yes, this is the goal of life. Seven mukhe hi jihvados spuratyada. And this is the essence of Shastra. So the point is that why I quoted this story is that one can be scholastic approach of studying these and that, and grammatically it says like that, and this say we can see even Acharya's comments. Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur Sridhar Swami said that according to Sanskrit Vyakaranam, this is like that, this particular case, particular verb, different things come. Sanskrit root in commentaries also you can find analytical description or analytically approaching Srimad Bhagavatam. That's one thing there. But more than that, we approach devotionally. Acharyas gave those things also analytical. They also analyzed. They accommodated those who want to study analytical. It's fine, but point is that's not the main purpose that Acharyas want us to do. They want us to devotionally approach Srimad Bhagavatam. Devotionally approach Srimad Bhagavatam and study the Shastra with that mood. Seven mukhe hi jihvado swayam vasrutto. So in Vidyapita used to say that this 5S, Swadhyay, Sadachar, Sangha, Seva, and Sadhana. So not only just study is important, but along with that sadhana, how sadhana we are doing, good quality of sadhana. Then Seva, how do you do Seva? Seven mukhe hi jihvado. And Sadachar, which is the most important. I might do good sadhana, no miss of Mangalarati. Every day I do Mangalarati and chant even 64 rounds, or do Nirjala Ekadashi, or I study not so many slokas and all. But if I don't behave with devotees with appropriate attitude, and if then I'll commit Vaishnava Parad, and Bhakti Lata will go. What's the point? What's the use of that? That was so we'll study those stories and all different things from Bhagavatam and different devotees how they studied. So we study from Chaitanya Bhagavat the story of the pastime of Devananda Pandit, how Mahaprabhu blessed Devananda Pandit. Devananda Pandit was professor of Bhagavatam, teacher of Bhagavatam. He would teach Bhagavatam. He would recite, do Bhagavad Katha, and how he offended Srivas Thakur. And he had offense, Vaishnava Para. So then later on, he begged forgiveness from Srivas Thakur, and Mahaprabhu instructed him how he should study Bhagavatam and preach Bhagavatam. So that's also there. We will study that in due course. And listen to those first times also in our classes. So sadachar, intention in our heart, and proper execution of those intention with proper mood, respectful attitude with devotees, not fault finding with them, having good Vaishnava dealing behavior. That's the main important thing. Sangha, Seva. So actually, in Vidyapit, when we got the opportunity to study, we were staying together as a group, like Gurukul. We would stay together. We would wake up together, go for Mangalarati together, chant together, do Guru Puja and chanting, dancing, sadhana together. Then we study together in study groups. We would sit in study groups and study scriptural studies and sadachar. Yeah, so Sangha and Seva, everything. So that's a wholesome. It's residential program. Beauty of residential program is that we can do everything together. Teachers and students can sit together and chant together, and students observe the teacher, the teachers observe the students, sadhana, sadachar, svadhyaya, everything is observed together. So that's wholesome overall study and progress. That's actually study. But what to do? We are doing online, and devotees are everywhere. We are not able to. It's practically everywhere scattered around all over the world. Practical thing is to do online, and that too we do self-paced. Hear the recording, but that also we expect that devotees as much as possible come together, meet together, and all of you are already doing it all over the world. Wherever you in your respective places, you are preaching, you are serving. Very good, wonderful. But from this group also, while we are doing Bhakti Vaibhava, it will be good that if you can connect with each other and make study partners, study groups, that's very good. There's a nice sloka by Chanakya Pandit in Chanakya Niti. He said that Ekakina tapodvabhyam patanam gayanam tribhi. Ekakina tapodvabhyam. If you want to do tapas, austerity, do alone. Ekakina tapodvabhyam patanam. If you want to study, then study in two, in a pair. Don't study alone. You want to do tapasya, austerity, do alone, but study you do in two pairs. Gayanam tribhi. If you want to sing songs, sing in three. It will be enjoyable experience. In three people should sit together and sing. Chaturdagamanam kshetram. If you want to go for a travel, a tour, a trip, then go with four. In a four people. In four in number. Chaturdagamanam kshetram panchavir. If you want to do agriculture, farming, do in five. And Chaturdagamanam kshetram panchavir. Bahudharana. If you want to go and fight and battle in war field, go with as many as possible. Take everyone and go. So, yeah, that's Chanakya Pandit is saying. So, study in two. That's another thing that, like Chaitanya Mahaprabhu also would study with Gadadhar Pandit. Mahaprabhu would, and Gadadhar Pandit, we discussed in previous class that how Gadadhar Pandit he would recite Bhagavad and Mahaprabhu would sit and listen in Totakopit and Jagannath Puri. So like that, it's good that if we can, it will be very good experience. Like we do in our Vidyapit, like study partner, study groups, 2 or 3 would sit together and we would study together. One would read loudly, others would listen, then other would read loudly, would listen. Sometimes we share what we understand from here. From this paper, we understand this and that. They're very good. And best partner, those who are in family life. Those who are brahmacharis, yeah, can find partners in brahmachari ashram and study partners sit together. Make friends. Friendship in brahmachari ashram may sit together and study. Those who are in grihastha ashram, best partner is life partner. Husband and wife sit together and study Srimad Bhagavatam. That's the best thing. If the whole family can sit together and study Srimad Bhagavatam, nothing better than that. And this group is also there. Those who are doing Bhakti Vaibhava can also sit together and study. So, yeah, and in Swadhyay, aspects involves 5 elements: Shravanam, Mananam, Nididhyasanam, Patanam, Kirtanam. Okay. Shravanam, hearing. We hear the classes. Mananam, then recollection. Test, exam, assessments will be there. Closed book, open book. Shlokas. Nididhyasanam, contemplation. Contemplation. How do you contemplate? That's what is study. Swadhyaya is not just like eating. It's not just putting inside mouth and swallowing. No, you chew it nicely. So we study something, contemplate on that practical application. That's what we study in classes: personal application, preaching application, different angles. How can I apply this in personal life? How can I apply this in preaching? How can I connect this with understanding? So make that from different angles. Patanam, recitations, reciting shlokas and reciting slokas of Bhagavatam itself is one yagya. Like in Bhagavad Gita, 4th chapter, in different types of yagyas are being mentioned. Jnana yagya, tapa yagya, swadhyaya yagya, brahmacharya yagya, different yagyas. So Jnana yagya and swadhyaya yagya. One is studying the Shastra, understanding the meaning of those. Another is just reciting, doing a patha. It itself is one yagya. So we recite the shlokas, that itself becomes a yagya. And kirtanam, we speak and we preach to others. And presentation, all of you will have to give presentation, that will be kirtanam. Sadhana, seva, sangha, those 5 is very important. So you can see details in that, this more. We hope, we recommend you, please, if you can collect this book, it is very good. Then this also he ever see about Srimad Bhagavatam, Bhagavad Subhadini, Bhagavatam compared to Lord's Body. We discussed in previous class, Srimad Bhagavatam, Pado Yadiyo, Prathama Dvitiyo, Tritiya Turiyo, Udito Yaduru. First 2 cantos are Lord's lotus feet, second and third are his thighs, third and fourth are his thighs, fifth is his navel, Nabhisthatha Panchamayeva Shashta. Sixth is his sixth and seventh are his 2 arms. Eighth one his chest. Eighth canto is Lord's chest. Bhujantaram dojugalam tathanyo. And Kantha, throat is 9th canto. His lotus face is 10th canto. His forehead, the Supreme Lord's forehead is 11th canto, and his kirita, his crown is 12th canto. 6th canto is the chest. No, yeah, I said that. 6th is the chest, 7th and 8th are his arms. Okay. So Prabhupada's emphasis on systematic Shastric study. Prabhupada said that how this should be studied. Srimad Bhagavatam begins with the definition of the ultimate source. It is a bona fide commentary on the Vedanta Sutra by the same author, Srila Vyasadeva, and gradually develops into 9 cantos up to the highest state of God realization. The only qualification one needs to study this great book of transcendental knowledge is to proceed step by step, cautiously, and not jump forward haphazardly as with an ordinary book. It should be gone through chapter by chapter, one after another. The reading method is so arranged with its original Sanskrit text, its English transliteration, synonyms, translation and purports, so that one is sure to become a God-realized soul at the end of finishing the first 9 cantos. So it's very important. So the Acharya's unparalleled contribution, everything I mentioned here, that how unparalleledly they contributed. This also in the first, we only Srila Prabhupada, first verse 1.1.1, Janmadhyasya Yatha, Srila Prabhupada mentioned there. There is no doubt about the authority of Bhagavatam. Within the past 500 years, many erudite scholars and acharyas like Jiva Goswami, Sanatana Goswami, Vishwanatha Chakravarti, Vallabhacharya, and many other distinguished scholars, even after the time of Lord Chaitanya, made elaborate commentaries on the Bhagavatam. And the serious student would do well to attempt to go through them to better release the transcendental messages. Yeah, the Prabhupada allowed, he gave us permission that those who want to be serious, we can study those commentaries of acharyas, go in depth of the subject matter. But first of all, we study Srila Prabhupada's purport. It's a really ocean of nectar. Yeah. So how it simplifies, it simplifies. So we see that. Okay, we have here chapter taglines, section, subsection, verse synopsis, and all. We'll go and see that special verses and all. Okay. So about the first two cantos of Srimad Bhagavatam. So today I am thinking to discuss briefly some part of first canto of Srimad Bhagavatam. Then subsequently, my idea is that next few sessions we will spend with overviews and some other things of before we actually start studying from 1.1.1, kind of prelude to Bhagavatam, which will help us. So Srimad Bhagavatam has these 10 subject matters, which is mentioned in second canto of Bhagavatam, chapter 10th. Atra sargo visargascha sthanam pushanamutayah manvantareshanu katha nirodho muktirashrayah. In the Srimad Bhagavatam, there are 10 divisions of statements regarding the following: the creation of the universe, subcreation. Atra sarga is a creation of the universe, creation by the Lord. Sarga means the primary creation by the Supreme Lord, and Visarga, subcreation by Brahma. Planetary systems, different planetary system. Visarga, sthanam, poshanam, protection by the Lord. Utayaha, creative impetus. Utayaha, uti, seventh canto, you can see that. Manvantara, Ishanu Katha, Manvantara, change of Manus, in eighth canto. Ishanu Katha, signs of God, ninth, returning home back to Godhead. Ishanu Katha, Nirodha. Ninth is liberation, 10th is Samambunam. 10th canto. So mostly we see like creations of creation, sthanam, poshanam. Fourth canto, we see poshanam, how the Lord protects the devotee. Fifth canto, we can see. Seventh canto, we see creative impetus, Utayaha, about Hiranyakashipu's story. Eighth canto, also sthanam, poshanam are described in fifth, also fourth. We'll see that those and get our details. Dasamasya vishuddhyartham navanam iha lakshanam vranayanti mahatmanaha srutenarthena chanjasa. To isolate the transcendence of the samambunam, the synopsis of the rest are described sometimes by Vedic interference, sometimes by direct explanation, and sometimes by summary explanations given by the great sages. Main purpose is to come to the dashamasya vishuddhyartham, 10th samambunam. That's the main thing that we want to reach there. But as a prelude, you can see the previous 9 things. Chatushloki will explore those in due course. Second canto. So, first canto of Srimad Bhagavatam, there are 19 chapters. Chapter 19 chapters. We divide the first canto of Bhagavatam into 2 parts, part A and part B. 2 sections. First section at part A section, part B section. Part A section is chapters 1 to 3. 1, 2, and 3. Okay. First 3 chapters. And second section means part B is chapter 4 to 19. So the story starts, first 3 verses, Vyasadeva, he gives Mangalacharanam, definition of the absolute truth, glories of Srimad Bhagavatam, invitation to state the sweetness of Bhagavatam. These things we'll see. First 3 verses prelude to that. Then it starts from 4th verse of 1st chapter of 1st canto of Srimad Bhagavatam, that in Naimisharanya, the sages, headed by Shaunaka, they set for 1,000 years of fire sacrifices for the betterment, welfare of world in Kali Yuga. But then they realized that these things are not going to work in Kali Yuga, so they started listening Purana Katha from Romaharshana Sutta, who was the disciple of Vyasadeva, who got Puranas in Parampara from Vyasadeva. So they were listening Puran Katha. At that time, Balaramji came there. But and when Balaramji came, all the sages stood up and they respected, they welcomed Balaramji. But Romaharshana Sutta, he thought that I'm sitting on Vyasasana, maybe I don't need to stand up and offer like respect him. So he was just sitting there only on the Vyasasana. So Balaramji saw it, and Balaramji understood that this person is proud, puffed up. And said, person with pride is not fit for glorifying the Lord. So Balaramji took a kushak grass, the grass, and with the grass he killed him. So now all the sages got astonished and they started lamenting what happened. Actually, the sages blessed Romaharshana Sutta that you become, you live, you have a long life. Long lifespan, we bless you with long lifespan so that you can recite Puran Katha to us. But so they were telling Balaramji that just now we have given him blessings that he should have a long lifespan, but you have just now killed him. So our blessings cannot be wasted or cannot go in stray. So Balaramji said, okay, if you say I can just revive his life, I can give his life back. So the sages said, oh, that also should not be done or cannot be possible. Why? Because just like we are sages, our blessings cannot be wasted, cannot be neglected. Similarly, you are the Supreme Lord. Whatever you have done, that also cannot be undone, or that also cannot be disrespected. So you have killed him, you have done an act, it should be respected by us. So we cannot tell you to again revive his life. So what can be done? What is the solution? Actually, son is the representative of the father. Son is the representative of the father. So what blessings we gave to the father, Romaharshana Sutta, will transfer this blessing from his father, from him to his son, whose name is Ugra Sutta. So they transferred the blessings to Ugra Sutta that you long live. So now Ugra Sutta was the Sutta Goswami who was present in Parikshit Maharaj and Shukdev Goswami conversation. When Shukdev Goswami recited Bhagavatam to Parikshit Maharaj, then Sutta Goswami was also present, that he heard there. And after reciting Bhagavatam, saying everything, then we'll see in the 12th canto that Shukdev Goswami says that this Sutta Goswami, this Sutta, Ugra Sutta, who has also heard Srimad Bhagavatam from me along with Parikshit Maharaj for 7 days, 7 nights, in future, in the assembly of sages in Naimisharanya, he will recite Bhagavatam. So already Shukdev Goswami predicted and blessed Sutta Goswami. So this is our Sutta Goswami, Ugra Sutta. There are two Sutta, Romaharshana Sutta, the father who was killed by Parikshit Maharaj, and Ugra Sutta, the son who was appointed by the sages, like he was given that seat. So now they started asking question to this Sutta Goswami, and he started answering. So that's Srimad Bhagavatam starts. So they asked 6 questions. 6 questions they asked to him in the first chapter. That's the first chapter. Chapter 1 is this. 6 questions by the sages. Question 1: what's the ultimate good for humanity? What is the ultimate good for humanity? Tell us. What is the essence of all scriptures? Then purpose of Krishna's appearance. Tell us about Purusha Avataras. Please tell us about Lila Avataras. Please tell us, where did dharma or religion took shelter after Krishna's disappearance? So these are the 6 questions by sages to Sutta Goswami in chapter 1. So now Sutta Goswami answered these 6 questions and he took 2 chapters, chapter 2 and 3. So chapter 1 is the 6 questions by the sages of Naimisharanya to Sutta Goswami, and chapter 2 and 3 are the answers of Sutta Goswami in respect to these 6 questions. That's all, 3 chapters gone. So like in chapter 3 also discussed Lilavataras and all. You'll see they answer the questions and first 3 chapters are there. So then in chapter 4, again, the sages, Shaunaka sages, headed by Shaunaka Rishi, they asked Sage Shaunaka, they asked questions to Sutta Goswami. Like, so there are a few questions like, okay, like Bhagavatam, Srimad Bhagavatam, who compiled Bhagavatam, when, why, or how did he got inspiration from? Tell us that. So they asked one question about Bhagavatam, who compiled it, and when and how did he get inspiration from, where did he get inspiration from? Then they asked question, tell us about Parikshit Maharaj. Parikshit, what happened to him? Like, why did he suddenly leave his kingdom and went to on the bank of Ganges? What happened? And how come Parikshit and Shukdev met with each other? What happened between them? We want to know about that. Then when Shukdev Goswami came to Hastinapur, how was he accepted? So these are the questions they asked. And in answering this question, Sutta Goswami took entire first canto, chapter 4 to 19. The first question was, tell us who compiled Bhagavatam, when, how. So to answer that, chapter 4, 5, 6, story of Vyasadeva. Vyasadeva was dissatisfied, not satisfied at heart, and he was sitting in Vadrika ashram, in Shamyaparas, in his ashram. Then Narad Muni came, conversation was there. Narad Muni instructed him to Narad Muni again instructed him to glorify Supreme Lord, and Narad Muni told him the glories of bhakti and told him his past life, how he was son of maidservant and Dasi Putra, and how he became Narad Muni. So basically this chapter 4, 5, 6 in respect to one question that tell us about Bhagavatam, who compiled it and how, where did he get inspiration from. So there's a background story, how Vyasadeva got inspiration to study Bhagavatam, why he's to compile Srimad Bhagavatam. So then, okay, second one is tell us about Parikshit Maharaj, his wonderful birth and his activities. How, tell us about that. So question is that tell us about the birth of Parikshit. So in order to answer that, Sutta Goswami went a little bit backwards, that how Ashwatthama got punished. How Ashwatthama got punished by Arjuna. Ashwatthama killed the sleeping sons of Pandavas, and Arjuna went and caught him. Then there was a argument, should Ashwatthama be killed or should he be forgiven? These things happens in chapter 7. Then Arjuna actually cuts his jewel on his head, and his bodily effulgence and luster gets faded out, and then Ashwatthama he releases Brahmastra towards the womb of Uttara. Uttara comes running to Krishna. Krishna was about to leave Hastinapur and go to Dwarka, but at that time Uttara comes running and she says that Pahi Pahi Mahayogin Deva Deva Jagat, please save me. This Brahmastra is coming towards my womb and going to kill my son. Let me die, but my son should be protected. So Krishna entered the womb of Uttara and said Parikshit Maharaj. So then he's again about to go. So that's chapter 7 and chapter 8 starts. So then again he's about to leave Hastinapur. Then Kunti Devi comes and she prays to Krishna to stay back for some more time, and she prayed. So that's beautiful, sweet chapter, Kunti Devi's prayers, entire chapter, prayers of Queen Kunti. So by the prayers of Queen Kunti, and then Yudhishthira also requested Krishna to stay for some time. So then Krishna decided to stay for some time. And actually, what happened in Mahabharata war, Vishwadev, he was lying on the bed of arrows. So then Krishna took Yudhishthira and Pandavas to Bhishmadev, who is lying battlefield, the bed of arrows. And then Bhishmadev gave his instruction to Yudhishthira Maharaj. This chapter, then he left his body. That happened. Then now Krishna leaves Hastinapur in chapter 8, 10. That's farewell to him. Then chapter 11 is how when he enters Dwarka, they welcome him. Now, in order to tell the birth of Parikshit, he told first 5 chapters. So then again in chapter 12, they remind, sages reminds of the Kusam, tell us about birth of Parikshit. So then chapter 12, birth of Parikshit. Chapter 13, how now, okay, tell the activities of Parikshit. So now again he goes back and says that how Vidura, after meeting with Maitreya and hearing Bhagavad Gita in Haridwar, he came to Hastinapur, and how he preached to Dhritarashtra and took him to the forest. Dhritarashtra also got liberation. And there he also, chapter 14, inauspicious omens seen by Yudhishthira Maharaj, and how he suspected that Krishna is disappearance from this world. Chapter 15, Arjuna comes to Hastina from Dwarka and tells that, confirms that yes, Krishna left us from this world and deprived us from his association. Then, chapter 16, 17, activities of Parikshit Maharaj, and 18, 19 again, how Parikshit was cursed by Shringi in between the confrontation between the bull and cow. The bull was Dharmaraj, religion personified, and cow was Mother Earth. And how Kali was torturing the bull. One leg was broken. So Parikshit Maharaj chastised and punished Kali. And how Parikshit Maharaj, he was cursed by, he was thirsty, he went to the jungle, the ashram of Shamik Rishi, and he put a dead snake around his neck. Then Shringi could understand that Shringi cursed him, and he left everything and sat on the bank of Ganges. So then all the sages came there. Then Shukdev Goswami also came. So that's what first Canto 1. So we will see in more depth, in more details. We'll study the shlokas and all sections. In future classes, we'll also see about future cantos, Canto 2, 3, and other things. We'll have a brief overview of them, and then we will actually start studying Srimad Bhagavatam. Hare Krishna. Srimad Bhagavat Mahapuran ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Gaura Premanande, Hari Bo.